This is Success Without Stress with Bob Roth, and my guest today is Jerry Seinfeld. And you always say a person who doesn't need any introduction, and then they go on and give an introduction. I'm not going to. But I am going to say that I don't watch television much, but I have seen your Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee multiple times. And I also I don't watch the news, but I do start every morning on jerryseinfeld.com to see those little 10-second, 30-second, 40, 50-second.
Oh,
and,
good. Well,
yeah, and then there's Sam right there, and I call
you.
Sam, and then he sees it. So that's how I start my day.
Well, that's
so
nice. Thank you.
We're ready to rip here.
I'm glad that my products are well received in the Roth house.
They are, very much
Yeah.
so. You've been practicing transcendental meditation for how long?
Well, 72. So that's 41 years, 42 years. I don't know exactly. It's definitely sometime around 72 or 73. I learned it at Oswego, where I was going to school. I went to State University at Oswego right out of high school, and I don't know how I really got into it. I was pretty investigative person in those days. Still am, I guess. Whenever I hear about something that sounds interesting, I like to explore it. And I've explored a lot of things, different things, and gotten a lot from all of them. But none of them, nothing compares to what the TM has done. So I'm doing TM. So I start, in school. You practice twice a day for 20 minutes. And I immediately stop doing the one in the morning because I didn't get that one. I couldn't understand why you would get out of bed and rest. And then for 40 years, I would just do the one in the afternoon. And that was a very sustaining thing for me in my life, and we can talk about that. What the life of a comedian is like, and also doing the TV show, which was much more challenging. And then a year ago, Bob, he was at my house. He was teaching my wife, and he started saying, "You should do the one in the morning." And I said, "Yeah, I know you're supposed to do it in the morning, but I never did." And then I started doing the one in the morning, and that has really changed my life in the past year, right? It was earlier this year.
Yeah. So I need to actually put this in context. This show is called Success Without Stress, and success is a relative term. A person can be successful to get the kids to bed without screaming. Mm-hmm. That's an achievement. They get an A on an exam. They're the head writer and everything of a 9-year iconic television show. The question is, does it have to be stressful? And so this show looks at specifically many different approaches for reducing stress, but the common denominator is meditation, and specifically transcendental meditation. And transcendental meditation is, as Jerry knows, a very simple, natural, effortless technique. It's done 20 minutes twice a day, sitting comfortably in a chair with the eyes closed. It allows your body to take a very profound state of rest, wakes up the mind, very energizing, and away you go. It's not a religion. It's not a philosophy. There's no change in lifestyle. Absolutely documented by an enormous amount of scientific research. This conversation with Jerry is, TM has had a profound effect, as he said, on his own life. But because of who Jerry is, he's had a very profound effect in bringing people to the practice. Jerry and I were on Good Morning America last year, and you gave a great definition of what meditation was.
I said that it's like you have a cell phone, and then somebody gives you the charger. And you go, oh, now this thing, I can get this thing up to 100 anytime I want.
Yeah, fully juiced.
Yeah,
the power of fully juiced.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy for me to talk about TM. The way I look at life, basically, is it's exhausting. And being busy is exhausting. Doing nothing is exhausting. No matter what you do, as a human on Earth, it's exhausting. And you need and sleep is a nice rest. Most of us don't get great sleep. It's very hit and miss. Sleep is hit and miss, and TM is not. So it's this thing that augments your need for rest. To the people that don't do it, I would say, I can't believe you stay up all day.
That's a good,
because I can't do it.
Is it only physical the recharging? Do you notice anything with your mind, clarity?
I'm a big exerciser as well. I'm a big gym guy. I love to go. I don't love it, but I just believe in it. And I don't separate the mind and the body as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
If my body's tired, my mind's tired. If my mind's tired, my body's tired.
So you meditate now in the morning, and how do you feel, before your morning meditation? Because you had said at first you were wondering why should you meditate in the morning because...
Yeah, why would you rest after you just got out of bed? And I said at the thing, Bob likes this, that if you get up out of your bed and you turn around and you look at it, it doesn't look like what happened in there was very restful. It looks like a war just went on in there. And I bet you if people that do sleep research, and you did a time lapse of someone in bed, you've seen these things. You're rolling around and punching pillows and pulling covers, and half of the time you get up in the middle of the night, right? It's a war. Sleep is a war, And so this thing, your night's sleep, was supposed to be this beautiful, restful. You've seen the Sealy, who is it? Sleepland ad, whatever it is. No one's having this experience, okay?
Oh, yeah, when they're sort of like...
the sleep number bed, a pretty girl, and, I don't know, she's never got a blanket on her,
No, that's right, she's on her side.
Such phony baloney stuff, of what sleep is supposed to be. So, but what TM is... most comedians love analogies, and me more than any comedian. Chris Rock might be the only comedian I know who's maybe a little better at analogies than I am. He's a great analogizer, and I love to make analogies for everything. A lot of stand-up is analogies. You take a funny situation and you analogize it to something else, and that's a comedic technique. But the phone charger is pretty tough to beat as an analogy because your phone charger never doesn't work. Unless it's sometimes you haven't got it all the way in the outlet, You look at it and say, how come it didn't charge? It's always a little out of the outlet. And you go, oh, I didn't push it all the way in. And then it always works. And that's the great thing about TM is you never have to wonder, let's say you got a big day. And the night before you think, all right, I'm going to get to sleep early, and I don't want to mess around tonight. I'm not going to watch junk TV. I want to get to sleep. I want to get a good night's sleep. But you're still just kind of hoping. You're hoping that you're going to get it, and that you're going to wake up feeling refreshed. And that's the big difference between sleep and TM. TM never doesn't work perfect. So I get up now and I do TM.
What's your schedule like you generally?
Well, I get up at 6, usually 6 or 6:15 in the morning because I have kids. And I just like to watch them have breakfast, and because that's just when I think of my childhood, I had breakfast alone most of the time growing up, and I had kids late. I'm 59. I had kids in my late 40s, so this is like a big deal. It's a big deal that anyone has kids. So it's just one of the things I like to do is I like to just sit there and I get the paper so that they don't notice me staring at them. I like watching them eat cereal, and I like the little milk dribbling down their chin, and I just like to watch that, and so that's when I get up. So I'll get up at 6, they get up about 6:45, and so I do the TM before anybody gets up. And how does it feel? It doesn't feel like anything. Doesn't do anything. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But here's the difference. At 1 p.m. that day, my head does not hit the desk like it used to. That's the difference. I get up at 6 a.m. Normally, if I didn't do that morning TM, usually, and I sit, and whatever I do, I'll have my breakfast, and then I do different things during the day. But any day, no matter what it is, if I'm working, by 1, I'm shot. And I think most people are. Crazy with the coffee. Speaking of which, I ordered a coffee. Did it come? All right. I just like to drink coffee, help promote my show. So, and now at 1 o'clock, I'm feeling good. And normally I spend a lot of time writing being a writer is a big part of being a comedian, and writing is a very, very exhausting activity, as everything is. But and my head, I would literally collapse in the middle of writing, and I would then I would lie on the couch and take a nap or something, or then sometimes I would do my TM like 2, but now I just sail through the day, and then I have my second TM at 3 or 4. Here's another good analogy, and if Bob hasn't already thought of this, I'll be shocked. You're on a road trip, and you got to stop for gas. Have you thought of this one?
No, that's a good one.
Right? You get in the car, you drive in the car. You don't just drive for 10 hours. You drive 3-4 hours, and you stop for gas for the car, for yourself. That break, that little break, and it's just a big thing. So that's what the morning TM does. Now, I'll tell you what happened today, and this is my personal thing that I think that I invented. Probably didn't. Today I got up at 6, and I slept 9 hours last night, okay? So I thought, all right, well, I'm in good shape today. Slept 9 hours. Went to bed at 9. Thought, man, I'm going to catch up on a little rest tonight. Went to bed at 9, got up at 6, and about 11:45, I hit the wall this morning. And even though I did my TM at 6, and my thing is, and this is the thing I got from my dad, Cal Seinfeld, and one of his great lines was never argue with the body. And he was a great midday nap guy. He was a salesman, and sometimes we would come home from school, and he would come out of the bedroom in his pajamas. he would just say, I got tired.
You come home with your friends.
And my dad would come out of the bedroom in his pajamas. He's like, I got tired. I came home and went to sleep. So that was his thing, never argue with the body. So I just felt tired. I'm in the middle of work, and I just felt tired. And now, as what I consider myself a TM master, 2 a day, every day, tired is not something I feel. That's not something I tolerate. Tired is wrong. If you're tired, something's wrong. And I just stop. And I go, no. I'm not going to be tired. And I did my TM right there at 11. Just 4 hours after the first one. I'm supposed to do it at like 4 or 5. That's what they tell you to do it. I go, the hell with that. I'm tired. I'm going now.
Cal was right. Listen to your body.
Never argue with the body.
Now, I want to just take a moment and just do a little definition of what TM is. As I said, it's a transcendental meditation. It's a simple, natural, effortless technique that allows your noisy, active thinking mind, like waves on the surface of the ocean, the noisy, active thinking mind, it allows the mind to just effortlessly settle down, to experience a state of calm and quiet that we all have inside, deep within, but we've lost access to. Like an ocean has waves on the surface and the depth of the ocean is silent. You see the waves, but the silence at the depth of the ocean, equally natural, just lost access. So every human being has a level of the mind deep within that's already quiet. We don't have to muscle it. We don't have to force it. We don't have to believe in it. It's there. And this is a simple, natural, effortless technique that allows anyone to access that at will. As Jerry was saying, much easier to do TM than fall asleep.
How would you like to lose weight? There's a new book out called, I don't know what it's called. It's something willpower, something about the will. And we're all familiar with this condition. Late at night, not even late at night, 9 to 11:30 p.m. I do this bit in my act about cookies, how cookies wait all day for you to get weak at 9 p.m. They know that there's no, I don't know where the cookies are in the morning. I've never seen them in the morning. I know they must be somewhere, but I never see them. And that somehow between 9 and 11:30 they start appearing, and how they look like they're in military barracks, that the cookie box is like a D-Day beach landing troop carrier, and they're lined up in rows. They're attacking you. So anyway, this book is about that your willpower, the amount of willpower that you have. Nobody goes berserk eating in the morning. You never wake up in the morning and eat a decent breakfast and then attack a box of brownies. You don't do it. But at night, we all do it. Why? We're tired.
Exactly.
And when you're tired, your willpower goes away. Willpower requires energy. And this is energy. So by increasing your energy level, you increase your willpower, and you are not so weak at night when you're weak. Well, I'm just, it's night, and I'm a devil-may-care kind of person anyway, and there's those donuts, and But a lot of it is actually just pure fatigue. Here's a stand-up bit I used to do. It's one of my favorite bits, and from 20 years ago, and it was about staying up late at night watching TV, and the thought crosses your mind, well, gee, I got to get up in the morning, and that you're like two people. Night guy is like, he's action guy. He's I don't give a damn guy. Now, morning guy, when the alarm goes off, he's got to go to work. But night guy doesn't care about morning guy. Night guy always screws morning guy. Night guy says, I got to party. I got to live. Today was boring, and now I'm having a good time. I'm going to watch this stupid movie that I've already seen anyway. Well, what about morning guy? He's got to get up. Screw him. I'm night guy. I got to live now. I live for the moment. And then the alarm goes off in the morning, and you go, oh, that night guy, what the hell what is he doing to me? Why didn't he go to bed so I wouldn't feel like this? So that was the bit, and I always love that because it's really true. Night guy always screws morning guy. Because the beginning of the bit was no payments till March. You always see these commercials for products, no payments till March. And you think, oh, March, it'll never be March. But anyway, fatigue, willpower, and, you can actually, if you're not so exhausted at the end of the day at night, you don't have to fight off the cookies. It's easier to fight off the cookies. So that's how, TM, you can lose weight.
So we have to do a break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk just for a moment about what happens in the brain when you get tired, that those parts of impulse control actually shut down. But you're listening to Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
This is Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
Sirius XM puts you behind the scenes of the world's premier winter action sports event, the Winter X Games. With over 200 of the world's best athletes competing on skis, snowmobiles, snowboards, and more. Exclusive interviews with all the athletes and in-depth coverage of the action on the slopes.
Gold medal performance.
The Winter X Games. Winter X Game coverage on Faction with Brian Colin. All weekend long. Only on Sirius XM 41. Faction.
It's the event that has new and old fans talking.
Time to say happy birthday, right? Howard Stern.
Happy birthday, Howard Stern. Well, happy birthday, Howard Stern.
Now, Howard Stern's birthday bash is almost here.
Well, that was very exciting.
Thank you, Robin. Again, you've said it all.
Live from Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Don't miss musical performances and celebrity guests. Howard Stern's birthday bash, January 31st. Howard 100, Howard 101.
Thank you in part to Panasonic Grooming. Embrace your face.
Listen up, guys. It's time to embrace your face with the latest shaving and grooming tools from Panasonic. From their advanced line of wet-dry shavers to their hair and beard trimmers, Panasonic has everything you need to look sharp, be smooth, and get close. Visit shop.panasonic.com/grooming to learn more. And for a limited time, use coupon code 100 and get 10% off and free shipping on all models. So visit shop.panasonic.com/grooming and embrace your face.
This is an urgent message for all individuals with extremely large credit card debt. No matter how much you owe on your credit cards, the company that has settled more debt than anyone in the U.S. could settle your debt too. While you make one low monthly program payment, you have the opportunity to hear how low your monthly program payment could be for free. This free information is available now simply by calling Freedom Debt Relief at 1-800-504-2720. I repeat, if you have extremely large credit card debt, you now have the ability to reduce your total debt and get one simple low monthly program payment. This could allow you to resolve your debt faster than you ever thought possible. But you should act quickly. Call Freedom Debt Relief now to learn how much you could save. 1-800-504-2720. Again, this life-changing information is available for free. To find out how much you may be able to save, call today. 1-800-504-2720. That's 1-800-504-2720. 1-800-504-2720.
Celebrities, CEOs, veterans, and students have learned through transcendental meditation that you can live your life free from anxiety, tension, and fatigue. This is Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
Who knew? As the guy just said, this is Success Without Stress with Bob Roth, and my guest today is Jerry Seinfeld. And before we went to this break, Jerry was talking about how those cookies line up in a military and they get you when you're tired.
When you're tired.
Retired. Yeah. And the interesting thing is there's a part of the brain called frontal lobes. It's about the size of your fist. It's right behind your forehead. And that's what makes us a human being. That's the one that's decision, judgment, planning, impulse control. When you're tired, that part of the brain goes offline. So then you're just impulsive action. I just have to have.
Well, where does it go?
It just disconnects. The neural pathways, the connections between the electrical impulses between the front of the brain and the rest of the brain shut down. And so now you don't have impulse control. But a good night's sleep, if you get it, or for sure after 20 minutes of TM, those connections are back online. And meditation strengthens that. So that impulse control, when you're tired, it affects your brain because, as we were saying, there's no difference between mind and body. It's all sort of one. Mm-hmm. So how you're feeling if you're tired, it's impacting your brain. Mm-hmm. And then your brain says, what the hell? I'm going for those cookies. Or it's the night guy.
Yeah, night guy.
Night guy. Morning guy, it's got a little bit more of the frontal lobes going.
Yeah.
All right. I want to shift gears for a moment. Ask you about just more your career. What role has luck had in your career? One time you said, I think if people don't think luck had a role in anything in their success, they're dreaming. Has luck had a role or in your...
Well, what is luck?
You
tell me, and then I'll tell you if it had a role.
Perfect storm?
I'm just not quite sure what luck is. I mean, to answer your question in a conventional manner, I would say there was an incredible amount of luck, good luck, that I had that made that show what it was. On the other hand, I could argue against that. I could say I'm the one who said to Larry David, when you and I talk, it's really funny. We should write something together. So I did that because when he and I talked and it was funny, I noticed it and I remembered it. And when it was time that opportunity came along, that NBC was interested in me to do a show, I remembered that, and I went back to him, and I said, what do you say you and I write something? I think we could be funny together. So did I know it would work out as well as it did? Of course not.
No.
But on the other hand, I could again argue the other side. He and I worked ourselves to death. We worked to death. That was what Larry and I did. We did not rest. We did not spare an ounce of effort. We would just order people out of the room. Get out. We're working, and that's why those scripts were as good as they were. Because when they got to that table and those actors got them, they were worked. So is that luck? I don't think so. That wasn't luck. We earned that.
Sometimes people say there was a fortuitous moment, at that time, but you have to work hard. You have to you have to work hard. What role does intuition have? You were talking about, and I'll define intuition, that you have a good sense of your career. You knew when to go to Los Angeles. You knew when to do the Tonight Show. You knew when to do a sitcom. And does meditation, clarity of thinking, impact that intuition or that sense, or have you always had that?
I think I have a good instinct in general. Here's the unfortunate thing about, me being a lifelong meditator.
Right.
Is there's no control group to look at what would have happened if I didn't do it. So I don't know, I don't really know. I do know when you're not at your wit's end, you definitely do better.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my basic thing. When I think of the things that I love, more than money, more than love, more than just about anything, I love energy. I love it. And I pursue it, and I want it. I want more of it. And it's just something I want. And I think this is the reason, by the way, that I am so enthusiastic about TM, is because I feel that in my life, that is the thing that I have wanted. Energy. Energy is so much better than money, because you can do things. Money, you just buy things. Money is a form of energy, because it enables things to happen. It's kind of a static energy that you can make. Well, I have money, and then I can buy something, and then I got that thing. I just made something happen. Well, yes, but that's not like creative energy or putting in a phenomenal day's work. To me, is way better than, let's say you come into a little chunk of money you didn't think you were going to get. You just get some dough, and you go, hey, that's great. That is great. I think money's great. But physical and mental energy, to me, is the greatest riches of human life. And TM is this incredible, it's like a free account of an endless amount of it. Because in my life at this point, which, I'll give the basics is, I'm 59, I'm 60 as far as I'm concerned. I have a wife, I have 3 kids, and I have basically 2 jobs. I'm a stand-up comedian. I travel and I perform and I write. And I have this show on the internet called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, which I devote a tremendous amount of energy to. Now, all of those things are gigantic, big things in my life that I care. They're soul things to me. None of them are things that I do just to make a buck. Those are things I do because I'm compelled in life to do them. Both of those show business things and my family. So to do them well, to come home from work at 60 goddamn years old, okay, to have worked hard the whole day, and there's 3 little kids running around the house, okay? I'm 60, okay? That doesn't work. And let's face it, at 6 p.m., if you busted ass that day, you're done. You're toast. So I go, you know what? I got to do my TM. Everybody knows TM. And I said to my daughter the other day, I said, because she's my daughter, all kids now, they're really overburdened with homework. It's like torture watching what kids go through compared to what we went through being, going through school. If I did an hour of homework a night, never did an hour. I never did an hour. So I said to my daughter, I said, look, when you're 18 and you get out of here, the thing that's going to make you happy, you're going to be able to stop having to hear about TM. And I said, and I don't care, but I am going to browbeat you until you get out of here. Because I watch what she goes through. And to study, I mean, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is to study from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
She's 12?
She's 13.
Yeah.
Ugh, I mean, can you imagine how horrible that must be? I say to her, you're crazy to just be doing this. I go, do a TM. Do a TM, then you do some work, and then you go to sleep. And people are stupid, and she knows it. She's learned it, and she knows how it works. The tough part of TM, here's what I would like to know from Bob Roth about TM. This is the greatest, most frustrating thing to me about TM. People learn it, they get it, they have the tool, and then it just kind of falls away from them. And they lose the connection of this is helping me. And I think it is like the car on the highway. You know, you're trying to get somewhere and you're getting drowsy and maybe the car's running out of gas. You think, I can make it. I can make it. I can get there. I don't need to stop. If I stop, then I'll get there 20 minutes later, but I want to get there, you know? And that's stupid thinking. And that's the way she is. She's stupid. She doesn't say, why don't I just stop for 15 minutes and rest? And then I'll be able to. So instead, I see her, she's like this. She's like this. The eyes are closing, the book, the computer, and this is her trying to finish her homework. And I go, you're not even getting anything done. Give up. Go to bed. She says, no, I got to finish. It's such torture to watch a human being do it.
Well, I mean, as far as kids go, it's true when Sasha does it on her own, she has no support from her other peers at school.
No.
But David Lynch Foundation has provided scholarships for whole schools to meditate. They call it quiet time, where the school begins and ends each day with 10 or 15 minutes of quiet time, and the kids meditate. And then you have that structure, and the whole school is quiet. And it's an astonishing change in the kids themselves, happier, more productive, better test scores, and then school-wide as a whole. So in New York and actually in major cities all over the country and around the world, David Lynch Foundation is providing scholarships and implementing programs in schools because then the kids have the support. That isn't to say that some people, and I know some of the people I taught, your friends, it's sort of faded away. But then I also find, I've been teaching this for 40 years. Sometimes in a person's life, they said, yeah, I started that thing like 5 years ago. It didn't really, but now I want it. And now something's happened in their life, and now they're serious about it.
Right.
So it varies, but I think the support in society of institutions where you meditate, in a school, the whole school meditates.
Right.
One thing that's interesting, I've taught single moms who say, this is going to be great, but when I get home, my kids are never going to let me meditate.
Right.
But then I ask them 2 weeks later and they say, when I haven't meditated, my kids say, Mommy, have you meditated yet? It's like, they want mom. They don't want the stress they want mom.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. I want to comment on one other thing you said about energy, which I thought was great. There's a top guy, hedge fund guy, who said when he thought about TM in terms of time management, he could always find an excuse that he didn't have the time. But as you said, he now looks at it as energy management. And how can he not take 20 minutes? Because for the next 6-8 hours, he's going to have laser energy. You just can't justify. If you only looked at TM as just a way to relax, well, fine, you just sort of kick back. But the research shows so much more. It gives access to that infinite energy you were talking about that lies within every human being, and creativity and intelligence. And it's the Department of Defense just gave $2.5 million to study the effects of this meditation on these poor men and women who are coming back from combat with post-traumatic stress. Has a broad range of benefits.
Wow, that's great. Bob.
Broad range of benefits. Great. Yeah, the National Institutes of Health given almost $30 million to study the effects of TM on high blood pressure, #1 killer, because it is more effective at reducing high blood pressure than antihypertensive medication, and no side effects.
Hang on 1 second there, because that is a little bit insane what you just said.
I know.
They're giving
only a little bit?
$30 million. They could just give it to you. Give me the $30 million, and you can tell them it works. Okay? We don't need the study. Give me the $30 million.
Yeah. That somehow they're in the business of doing research, but it has helped, because when I go into a school or I go into a business and they say, show me the data. Like people say.
But the data exists already.
I know. But and the thing is, you do it in a school in San Francisco, and then they say, well, I got to do the research on the school in Washington, D.C. Everybody's got to research it for their own people.
Oh, people are so stupid.
I have to tell you, one of the nicest experiences I had was meditating with your whole family. Remember when we did that in the living room?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the 2 young boys and Sasha, young daughter, and your wife. And that was great. That was like a little Seinfeld family meditation.
Yeah, it was fun. So now, when I walk in the door, you train people. Dad's got to do his TM. You want to do this? Yeah, I'm going to do TM first, TM. I just I told him, look, I'm gonna annoy you with this. You're never gonna stop hearing about it. And I have become somewhat annoying, I think, to people.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you tell people? When
I can't not. I make people I know that are in my life that I work with or something. I just can't. I'm kind of a compulsive helper, and I just say, you got to have this, The thing about, and people talk about exercise, you could say almost all these things, you could almost apply the same things to exercise. All this exercise has all these benefits. We all know it. But exercise requires a bigger confront to get your ass up and do it, and however you got to do it. You go to the gym, whatever it is. The TM, you're just going to sit in a chair. How hard is that to just sit down in a chair? And I'll do it, I'll go right over, see, like with these people sitting over there. I'll sit in that if I need it, and I'll just go right over there and do it. Nobody, especially in New York, nobody, what's that guy doing in that chair with his head down and his eyes closed? And so I'll just do it. And, what was the thought there about? Yeah, it's really a nice thing. I would say the closest analogy I could find to this would be if I said to you, look, at 5, you're going to take a warm bath. That's part of our company rules. Everybody takes a warm bath at 5. You might say, I don't really feel like that. I don't normally take warm baths. Well, that's what we do at this company. We take warm baths at 5. We're going to give you your own nice clean bathroom. I guarantee you by the second day, you're going to go, well, hey, it's almost 5. Let's take that warm bath. And that's what TM feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. You're just going to sit down and we're just going to slide into that bath. And that 20 minutes is going to go by like that. And you're going to be a different person when you're done. You're just going to be different.
A lot of people with the word meditation, there's a lot of misunderstandings. There's like a Zen meditation or a mindfulness meditation, and those can be very difficult. People say to me, well, I could never meditate even if I wanted to. I can't clear my mind of thoughts. I can't do that. So what do you say when someone says that?
I say, here, well, first of all, that's what's great about TM is like, we'll take all the thoughts you've got,
Right. Bring them on.
Yeah. Here's the way I look at it. It's like, here's another analogy. I'm glad I mentioned the thing about comedians and their analogies. We love to do them. So here's a guy, you meet a guy and he's stressed out, right? Freaked out, nervous, tense, upset. Okay. Forget meditation. You say to this guy, okay, here's what I want you to do. Put on your running shorts, your running shoes. We're going to go out to the track. I want you to start jogging around the track. How long? Just keep going. I'll tell you when you're done. So you put this guy out on the track, right? Stressed, freaked out. He's in a panic state, right? Guy goes 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps, 10 laps. After a while, this guy's we're going to break him down, right? After 4 or 5 miles, he's going to be a different guy, right? Just from that activity. TM does this with your mind. It's taking your brain and you're going, well, I got this problem. And this is what's going on in your brain. Like, I got to deal with it. And I can't believe people would say that to me. And I'm not going to take that. And I'm going to go in their office tomorrow. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. So you're taking your mind and you put it in a little hamster wheel. It's like Muhammad Ali, Thrill in Manila, was that the Foreman fight?
Yeah.
The rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing with your mind. Yeah, just keep hitting me. Keep hitting me. And by the end, George Foreman, I'm sure, was upset that he lost, but I bet you he was very relaxed at the end of that fight because he just punched himself out. And that's what TM does with your mind. Go ahead. Give me everything you got. And it just takes the fight out of it. And and by the end, it's like, all right, I'm not so upset I'm not as upset about that as I thought. I don't do therapy. I think people probably get a lot of that from psychotherapy. They kind of talk themselves out in a way, although I think I would find that more stressful. But anyway, TM has this thing of, if your mind feels energized and stressed out and freaked out, it's like, okay, we're going to start running it around a track now. Think all the thoughts you want, until they just kind of, the pool just stops, it gets calm. I don't really know how it works. I don't think anybody really knows exactly how it works. The great thing about it is that we know that it does work.
When you learn to meditate, you receive, it's taught in personal instruction, one-to-one with a trained teacher, and you receive a mantra, which is a sound, a couple syllables, no meaning. It's been used for thousands of years for meditation, and you're taught how to use it properly so that your mind just does settle down without any fight, any resistance. Anyone can do it. Absolutely everyone can learn it. We have to go to a commercial break. This is Success Without Stress on Sirius XM Indie 104.
You're listening to Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
My name is Dion. I do Afternoons on the Heat, the channel that plays hot R&B. And I'm also the guy that picks the music, too. We're playing the big name acts, Beyonce, Rihanna, and we're equally passionate about finding what's next, emerging artists. That's why the Heat was the first station in North America to play Miguel, Frank Ocean. We found these before anybody else did, and we went there with it. It takes people who are passionate about the music, the culture, and have that insight. We can't fake this. That's the Heat. Sirius XM Channel 47 and on the Sirius XM app.
One Little Joint Supplement. You know this powerful little pill is great for your joints. It even has powerful benefits to help increase your mobility and flexibility. But the joint supplements of today are sadly incomplete because they don't give you the joint relief you're looking for. Until now. Introducing the complimentary 2-week sample of Instaflex, our most powerful joint formula ever. It's the #1 selling joint supplement at GNC. The only thing our complimentary sample of Instaflex is missing is the price. Because right now, we're offering adults a complimentary 2-week sample as part of a nationwide giveaway. Call and claim your sample today. 1-800-451-4810. Instaflex provides powerful, effective joint relief for your knees, hands, even your hips. Prove it to yourself by calling now for your complimentary sample. Instaflex is available at GNC, Walgreens, and Vitamin Shop. But you can only get your complimentary 2-week sample by calling 1-800-451-4810. Call now for your 2-week Instaflex sample. 1-800-451-4810.
You know the old saying, water and oil just don't mix? Well, water doesn't mix well with gasoline either. But unfortunately, gasoline actually attracts water. And even worse, the ethanol-blended fuel in your tank now absorbs up to 50% more water. Water in your fuel system can freeze and also cause expensive engine parts to rust and corrode. Keep water and rust away from your fuel system. Ask for the BG Ethanol Defense Service, which includes a fuel system dryer. Find a shop with BG services at bgfindashop.com. Just remember,
BG. Who are Covino and Rich? Indie. I'm just a friendly dude. I watch a lot of TV, too much movies. Rich is like a handsome dude, the kind of guy you want to punch in the face. Covino, I like to consider myself an opinionated, passionate professional of a host. Covino's a Jersey Guido. I actually have referred to yourself as the Mexican Fonz. When Fonz was here, he said, nothing like him. How can we describe our show in a better way? Sports, comedy, entertainment, football, women, dumb 80s and 90s references. We're completely uncensored. Covino and Rich, 12 p.m. East every afternoon. This is our channel. Check it out. Covino and Rich. Indie Sirius XM 104.
Bob Roth, Executive Director of the David Lynch Foundation, has helped people from all walks of life transform their lives. This is Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
I am Bob Roth. This is Success Without Stress, to repeat that. And I'm here with Jerry Seinfeld. And we're,
Two greatest TMs. First of all, they're all great. But the two greatest TMs, TM before exercise, for you exercisers out there, insane what it does for your exercise experience. And TM before stand-up, if you happen to be a professional stand-up comic or an aspiring stand-up comedian, stand-up comedy is an extremely exhausting as physical, mental activity. And to have that tool of doing TM before you do your set, you're going to be a different dude up there. You're just like, just kind of, you're in that place in your mind that you want to be, where in all things, you want to be relaxed. You want to have energy in all things, especially sports, but especially performing. because that's a great performance from anybody, whether it's a singer, an actor, a comedian, anything. It's got energy and it's relaxed and easy. You know, we don't want to see somebody, you know, stressed. You know, we want to see somebody confident and smooth. And most importantly, they seem to know what they're doing. You know, that's the first thing an audience wants to feel when someone gets up on a stage. Does this person know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Because if they do, then I can relax. And when you're trying to elicit laughter, they have to be relaxed. If they're worried about you, the laughs are harder to get. If they feel like, okay, he seems like he's okay, you know. So stand up before TM before stand up is gold. It's a golden thing to have. The ultimate. Plus, you're traveling and you're doing interviews, and it's the airport. Stand up is so tiring. So I recommend it highly for anyone, but for the stand up comedian, you know. See, now a guy like me, you know, again, 60 years old, really should be running out of gas at this point in my career. And because what you got to do when you're stand up, you know, I was at Foxwoods this weekend, it's 4,000 people. I got to physically move these people. I got to move them, you know, with voice and physical gesture, facially, your expressions, your energy, your mental focus, the whole thing. I got to push this mass of meat. That's what it is. It's just a load of meat out there, you know? And you got to have energy. And I know a lot of guys, look, all the guys I started out with, they're all my age. And it does start to fall off, and they can't do it. They can't do it because it's a physical, stand-up is a physical act. Stand-up is, you know, stand-up is a physical challenge. It is a mental challenge, but equally physical. And when you're young, of course, it's a breeze because you're blessed with youth. You know, the ultimate weapon is youth in life. But then, you know, we all obviously lose that as we go. But this is the ultimate way to fight it off or to extend your vital period of your life as, you know, as long as you can.
Questions?
Sam Katz from Bedford Hills, New York. Are there certain specific elements that occur in every single successful joke?
Yes. The specific element that occurs in every single successful joke is surprise. Surprise. A line of logic is going one way, and then it doesn't. I call it making nonsense. Go, that doesn't make any sense, but I get it. That's the words that people use to describe a joke. I got it. You know, they say, I got it. Well, what did you get? I got from here to there, even though it doesn't, you know, it doesn't need to make sense. I mean, we could talk about any joke you want. Night guy always screws morning guy, to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Well, what does that mean? I'm two people? I'm not two people. I'm one person. But for a split second, when I say that, because I'm going to title the two different yous, you'll buy it. And in that moment, you'll laugh. But then your brain you'll have the laugh, which is the goal. But then your brain will go, well, that's not really true. And then the laugh's over. You know, there's no two people. I'm one body. So, but in that moment of surprise, you're going, hey, I get that. And it doesn't make sense, but it does. So that's every successful joke has that in it.
Cool.
Well, let's take a couple more questions.
All right.
Just a couple more.
We're going to do a couple more questions.
Is life funny and you're just pointing out the humor? Or is it that life is boring and exhausting and you're just making it seem funny?
Life is funny, and I'm just pointing it out. And you're perceiving it, but if you didn't perceive it, I couldn't get you to relate to it. Like you've already perceived that night guy and morning guy is true, but you just never articulated it. I put it in a way that you go, oh, he described something that I'm aware of, but I never put words to. So I find things that you've thought of, but that you're aware of, but haven't really analyzed. And that's the whole act. That's the whole gig, is I'm exploring your mind. I know what you've experienced because we all experience the same things. Now, I don't know exactly, and that's why there's a lot of experimentation to find jokes. I got to do 10 things before I find the one that makes you laugh, and then that's the one that stays in, the other 9 go. So stand-up is a very scientific and very exhaustive study of the human experience. But what you do find is that we all pretty much have the same things, but they don't all make you laugh. Everything I think I've ever written is funny, but it just doesn't make you laugh. So stand-up is, I put 500 things in the hopper, and 25 of them are going to work, and you're not going to hear about that other 475. People say, oh, everything you say is funny. No, I don't say the other things.
Is it a blissful experience when you have that connection with the audience?
Not for me. No, it's no, it's more martial.
It is.
It's like it's you against me, and I'm going to win. I don't always win, but I'm coming out there to win because the odds are against it. Not real. How's that going to happen? You know, it's kind of it's a magic act. And then I get into my sports analogies like baseball. You're trying to eliminate variables. A hitter is trying to eliminate the variables, trying to guess what this pitcher's going to throw. If I guess right, my odds of getting a hit go up. If it's only 5 or 10%, I'm taking that. I need that. I'm going to take my best joke and I'm going to put it at the front of the set, because that's the hardest laugh to get is the first one. And the first thing I want to do is I want you to have confidence in me. Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to take the joke that fails the least amount of time, and I'm going to put that at the front of the set. It's scientific technique. If the first thing I say gets a laugh, at that moment, 100% of everything I've said gets a laugh. Yeah. Now I've got your confidence. Okay? Now I've got your confidence. So that's going to make the second laugh much easier to get. So the second joke doesn't even have to be that good. Now I've got 2 laughs, but let's reverse it, okay? I go out, my first joke is a joke that works 50% of the time. This is like, I always wanted to teach comedy, and you can't teach it. But if I would, these are the things I would teach. 50% joke, that's not our leadoff hitter, because we need, that first laugh is so important to establish the audience's confidence in you. Relaxation, coming out in a relaxed state, how you walk to the mic, they're watching that. They're feeling your tension level. And the same thing in a fight between 2 boxers, the first guy to land a punch has a tremendous advantage. The other guy is immediately on the defensive, immediately vulnerable. Now I've got you down. So the way I look at a set is it's not relaxing. I want to get you down, and I want to pummel you and then walk off, and you never got a chance to hit me, because comedy and show business is, look, either I win or you win. There's no truce. Same thing with television. I knew that TV series, look, either you're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you. And after 9 years, I was still killing that series, but that series would eventually have killed me. It would have either weakened, and I would have ended up leaving the air in a position of disadvantage. Well, the show went low ratings. People lost interest. They thought it wasn't so good anymore. It's going to win if you don't leave before it gets that chance. If I stay out on that stage in front of an audience, I'm not a big fan of the long set in comedy. Guys like to go on, like to do an hour and 45 minutes. The audience will win if you stay out there too long. They will win. They will go, you know what? A lot of this stuff's kind of the same. I'm getting tired of the sound of this guy's voice. I didn't really want to be here this long. They're going to win. So I want to go out. I want to get you down. I want to beat the snot out of you and get out of there before you realize that I beat the odds, which is one person beat 2,000 people. That's, you're at a disadvantage. So you can't, so it's very martial, the experience.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for this extraordinary interview. I'm Bob Roth. You're listening to Success Without Stress on Sirius XM Indie 104, and we've been very fortunate to spend this time with a dear friend and strong TM practitioner, Jerry Seinfeld. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Success Without Stress with Bob Roth on Sirius XM Indie 104.
Sirius XM.
This is Sirius XM Satellite Radio.
Sirius XM.
Satellite Radio.
This is Sirius XM Satellite Radio.
Sirius XM NBA Radio wants to send you to New Orleans for the 2014 NBA All-Star Game. One winner will get round-trip airfare for two nights hotel, and 2 tickets to the NBA All-Star Game. Plus, you'll also get to meet 76ers rookie sensation Michael Carter-Williams.
To enter, go to SiriusXM.com/All-Star by February 3rd at 10 a.m. Eastern. Open only to active SiriusXM subscribers since December 20th, 2013. See website for details. No purchase necessary.
Get closer to the NBA with SiriusXM NBA Radio. Channel 217 and on the SiriusXM app.
Exclusively to SiriusXM, the Covino and Rich Show.
Did you know Covino has a vendetta versus Pachelbel? Stuffy moments in life. Those songs are smills. Play me a graduation song, too. Smill song.
That's Macho Man's theme song.
You know what? New Year's song? Smill.
Smill? Is that your new thing?
Stuffy moment in life. That fucking New Year's song? Old Lang Syne? Sucks my ass.
We now announce the graduating class of Union High, 1994.
Stuffy moment in life where I'm pretending to be something I'm not. With the stupid hat on. Get the fuck out of here. Les Miserables. Oh, Smill? What a miserable song to bring in the new year. This makes
Smill. You know what I've always said, Spot? Moments like this fucking Smill.
Stuffy moment in life.